We hope we are live streaming. Hopefully. But yes! What's up, YouTube? Live stream. No, that is not the right number. It never is the right number. Then you have to go in there and edit it, but I don't care. Let me see. Alright, so welcome to the live stream of Howdy Radio. We haven't done a new episode of Howdy Radio in a while, and we're about ready to start it up here in a minute. But we're going to tweet out these links so that everybody can tune in and watch us and whatnot. So, give me just a second here, and we'll get this going.
Ooh, Howdy plays Apex Legends. 55. Our last episode was
December. That's what I tweeted a few minutes ago and said this was the first episode of 2020.
Unknown Podcast 30. Best of 2019.
Finding it cheaper than $6.
I'm waiting for Switch to do classics. Hopefully, eventually get on that train for $20. There's quite a few games.
The big news here is that since we've last done an Unknown Podcast, Smoothie has bought a Switch.
Whoa, man!
Yeah, we need to get him drunk so he can rant good things about it now.
You don't need to get me drunk to rant good things about it. I heart my Switch. I pretty much play that once a day, even if it's only in the bathroom. I'm playing it. It's getting picked up and plays it once a day.
Nice. I hope you wipe that thing down. Shit particles all over that thing.
Alright.
You and your friends are funny.
There's a tweet. Retweet that.
I tweeted my first tweet a couple of days ago.
You did.
It was a Call of Duty clip. I added Call of Duty, and it was like some weird glitch that had happened. One second. It's this.
Out of all the things I could have done, just can't work.
Alright, Tyler, we're getting ready to go live. I'm going to need you to go a little quieter, please.
Say that again?
I need you basically at a whisper.
Okay.
Like a soft, very soft whisper.
Okay.
Thank you.
This is what I'm talking about, Dad. Look at his body. This gun was even pointed at him and his body flew everywhere.
Alrighty. Let's see.
Also, would like to talk about how I moved the Xbox over here. Just for a minute.
Alright, ready? Probably should grab.
Why are we recording on here? Since when have we done this?
I've always recorded each little segment and put them all together for the podcast.
Have you I thought you stopped doing that. I thought you pressed the start and stop recording.
Well, this is my favorite way of doing it, so.
Okay. It's easier to do it this way.
Yeah. Alright, ready? Episode 55.
Oh my god.
Do we have anybody watching? Check that before we go live. I always forget about the chat room and all that and wonder if anybody's ever in there. I tell everybody to come watch and then I forget to check the chat room.
I got it.
Remember for like 2 episodes when we had the chat room as a part of the actual episode and then we got lazy and didn't keep doing it. Ooh, fancy. Alright, ready?
Sure.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 55 of Howdy Radio, the next generation. I'm Brandon,
I'm Lane.
and this is our first episode of the year. We have not done
of the decade.
Oh, of the decade.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, I thought earlier this morning I was like, you know what? Let's do an episode. We haven't done an episode in a long time, and it seemed like a good time to do an episode. And then when I was getting ready to put out the tweet, when AEW Dynamite started, I put it out right around the same time and said after AEW Dynamite, the return of Howdy Radio. And then I was like, oh, I got to see when the last episode was. It was in December, and it was our best of 2019 episode. I didn't realize we hadn't done
like the ranking everything episode.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was the last episode we did. That was like the beginning of December.
Yeah.
And to say things have changed might be like the biggest understatement of the century at the moment. So now we are amongst all of the Corona stuff. Yeah. So it's impossible to not at least, I guess, talk about that. Yeah. But that's not here what we're talking to talk about the whole time. We've got
we're going to talk about the same thing.
We're going to talk about wrestling, and we're going to talk about video games. It's going to be our main topics on this show because why else would it not be?
But
it's also very topical.
Everything is also tied into this whole Corona thing because everything's being affected by it right now.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about video games here in a little bit. Both Xbox and PlayStation have both released specs on their new consoles that are coming out later this year. And then, so we want to talk about that, compare the two of them, say what we're excited about, not excited about, just basically that. And we also want to talk about wrestling and where wrestling is right now because of this whole coronavirus thing and our thoughts on that.
Yeah.
So that's what we're going to get to here in a little bit, but we want to just say what's up here in the beginning.
Yeah.
So you've ended up with a week tacked on to your spring break, I guess.
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
We had a week. We usually next week would have been our 1 week of spring break, and last week the governor said that we're gonna have 3 weeks starting on Monday of last Monday. So we had a day, a week before, and then the week of spring break, like we won't have any schoolwork and that kind of stuff. And then the week after, it'll be just like we're at school but at home.
Gotcha. So how do you feel about that? Are you excited about that, sad about that, mad about that?
It's weird. Like, I'm happy that I'm home, but also it's like me being home so much, I'm like, I kind of miss just like the daily routine of me going to school and like hating my first bell and then going to second bell because like I always have the same kind of like mindset going every single day about like first 3 bells are okay, and then like after 4th bell the day's basically over at this point, and like it's just the same thing over and over again. So I kind of like wish I was at school because I also get to see more people.
Yeah, you get to see your friends, hang out with your friends, make jokes, have fun.
But also because we're all quarantined inside of our houses, I get to play games with them all day. So
that was one of the funny ones that I read. Said gamers have been preparing for being quarantined their whole lives, and that's kind of true.
And like, because we have like online schoolwork that we have to do, because it's basically just like if we didn't do any work, it's basically we have 14 days of snow days, which is like more days than we're allowed to have, which would mean that our summer would be cut short. So like I've been on like Snapchat calls with my friends, like doing our work all together to make sure everybody like is doing the best that they can. So
that's pretty cool. So that's you with your with school. With me, with my job, because a lot of people are getting laid off or working from home or whatever. I work at a bar/restaurant, and I'm a cook. And Ohio has cut out all of eating inside of restaurants, all dine-in restaurants and all bars, which I qualify as both. Completely shut down. Until further notice, I'm pretty sure is where
it's
that's
just indefinitely is what they're saying.
So that hit my business hard. So we're just doing carry-out orders, and we've started delivering. We've never delivered before, but we have a bunch of...
Didn't you guys used to deliver?
Yeah, so the name of the place I work at is called Chicken on the Run, and literally like 90 years ago when this place was first invented, they were making fried chicken dinners, like a KFC bucket of chicken kind of thing.
Is that why you called Chicken on the Run? Because it
and
was
they used to deliver it. That was their shtick when it first happened. So way before my time, or even way before the previous owners of the place that hired me on, even way before their time, the place delivered chicken, and that's why it was called Chicken on the Run. So everybody comes into this place asking, why on earth is this place called Chicken on the Run? And we answer that question constantly and tell them, way, way, way back in the day, that's why.
I never knew that. How have you never told me this?
I don't know. Couldn't tell you.
You could have told me this.
So that's why. Okay. So now, since this whole thing has happened, we need to be able to get as much business as we can. We have a bunch of workers that want to keep working, and we got servers that have nobody to serve, so now they're our delivery drivers, and we're delivering once again, so which is pretty cool.
So what are you doing now that, because now you have a little bit of free time, because also all restaurants close at 9, completely.
Yeah, our hours are completely different now. Yeah,
so now at 9, nothing at all, basically.
We're done at 8. We close at 8.
So time for supper, everyone. Time to eat at 4 o'clock. Yep. So, what have you been doing with your free time now there? Because you kind of had a day off as well. That day after, because people had to prepare for that kind of stuff. So,
the kind of weird thing about it is though that I work daytime hours and I work nighttime hours. My daytime hours have actually been extended a little bit because of this. The way that the kitchen hours ended up working are a little different than our normal kitchen hours, and it ended up giving me a couple extra hours every day during the day, but I've got a couple night hours that'll be minus a couple hours because we close earlier, so it'll kind of all work out to be the same. So I'm working about the same amount of hours, which I'm super grateful for because I'm still able to cook for people people need to eat.
At least you're not a lot of people who just got completely unemployed now because the places are completely closed.
Yeah, but I mean, there's even people that I work with because there's more servers than there are cooks. People that we need delivery drivers. Yeah. Like us cooks got super lucky because we're the in demand ones. We are the ones that need to cook for all of these people that can't. I mean, you can still get food everywhere, but they need to be fed. So whatever. So it's kind of cool being the guy that can do that. But other people that I work with have not been quite so lucky because they haven't been able to get hours. Some of them have. They're trying to divvy out hours fairly. So that's where we're at with it. So if we all end up being quarantined for a month, what do you think? Are you excited about that? Or are you like, oh God, I don't want to sit here with my family for a month? Have I got enough back stock of video games that I haven't played that will last me through this?
That kind of actually is not completely my mindset, but I would like to play a couple of single player games before we go back.
There's a lot of sales going on in the video game world right now.
Uno is for $3 on Steam.
Right on, because they know that people are thinking to themselves, "Crap, I gotta have something to play to get through this." And it's like, "Oh, here's Final Fantasy for $5. Of course, I'll buy that."
Did Final Fantasy VII Remastered? When does that come out?
It comes out in 2 or 3 weeks or something like that. And I just read today that they think that the physical release of it will probably be pushed back.
That makes sense. That's safe. So
yeah, but
just make it digital for that month and then have it physical. But
so back to let's finish that before we just start talking about video games. So what's your thoughts on if you gotta be up and locked up in your house for a month or whatever?
Well, for the last couple of days, me and Tyler, because the new James Bond movie comes out, and now in November, it was supposed to be April, but then it got pushed back because of the whole Corona thing. So we started watching the Daniel Craig James Bond movies. It's just be like, hey, we should watch these movies to kind of pass a little bit of time. And also, I moved the Xbox that is usually in our big area behind us with all the consoles and that kind of stuff. I moved it over here to the desk that we used to have our old Windows computer on. So now when somebody else is over there, now I can play over here. So I've been playing on this a lot more. So that's what I've kind of been doing. But I know I'm probably gonna binge a show at one point because you gotta give Netflix the time. So, but yeah.
You guys learned how to play poker and blackjack today?
Yeah, last night Tyler taught me how to play blackjack, and then we were playing Texas Hold'em today. Yeah. So that was fun.
Yeah, I think it's cool to kind of see some of the creative ideas that people are coming up with to kind of pass the time or do things together.
There were people in China that were playing pool with like a big dryer cloth and like foam cups, and it's like putting it on a table and like setting it down.
Well,
So and I think like the ball was like an apple or something like that.
all you need is a ball and a cup.
Yep, a ball and a cup.
It's a ball and a cup.
Oh my goodness. Can you go 5 minutes without seeing a Simpsons or Family Guy or
That's
something
Family
like that?
Guy there.
I know that's Family Guy, but
Big,
you don't always reference Family Guy.
No,
you usually
but
reference Simpsons.
I like Ball and a Cup, though. Ball and a Cup was a good... One of the maybe 5 Family Guy references that I'll still make at this point.
You don't make a lot of Family Guy references. I feel like I think I make more Family Guy references than you do sometimes.
Over the last week or so, I haven't really had anything to watch. I've finished shows. BoJack's over, so who knows?
Have you watched Castlevania yet?
No.
The third season of Castlevania.
And then I watched Cobra Kai. Cobra Kai season 1 and 2.
You've been addicted to Cobra Kai.
That was so good. Such a good series. So since that ended, I haven't known what I wanted to watch. So I've been bouncing around between a couple just cheesy old 80s and 90s shows. And I've been... That's not something I watch very often. So we've been turning them on at dinner time to make the kids watch them too, just because why not? So one night we watched an episode of Family Matters, and one night we watched tonight we watched an episode of Step by Step. And I haven't watched these shows, and I couldn't tell you how long. So
yeah,
what did you think of?
I didn't know that Step by Step even existed.
Okay, yeah.
Everybody knows that Family Matters.
You're aware of Family Matters.
Yes.
Were you aware of Family Matters, or were you aware of Steve Urkel?
Both.
Okay.
Like, cause it's like Steve Urkel is its thing by itself is it's like kind of a thing by itself as well.
Yeah.
But then also it always is connected to Family Matters. Or you see dumb ads on literally every other ad on Snapchat. It's like, do you remember this character from this TV show in the late 90s or early 2000s? Look what they look like now in 2020. It's like a huge long article about how this person looks now.
Is Steve Urkel one of them?
No, but like that, it would be like that. Like it would be, Steve Urkel from Family Matters? This is how he looks in 2020.
Gotcha.
Probably looks like cool Steve Urkel now.
Yep. That was the episode. I was like, well, if we're going to watch one Family Matters episode, it's going to be the episode where
but it wasn't even that
becomes
funny.
Cool.
It was like a cool premise, but like the episode ended so dumb.
Yeah.
It was like,
you just have to think about
look, I'm cool. Oh, I don't want you to be cool. Okay. And then you just stop being cool.
But you got to think about it too. Like that was a very big show. Like people were very into that show. It did very well. And that was season 5, like halfway through season 5 of that show.
That makes sense.
So Urkel was a huge, pop icon at that point. He was a huge TV character. Yeah. So for 5 years, Steve Urkel was the nerdy character and whatever. And so for, that was the episode where it was like, oh my God, you heard him talk differently and like act differently. So like that episode was always a big deal for the show. I'm not saying it was you
only turned it on because of the BoJack joke.
Yeah,
that's the only reason you turned it on.
Yes,
everything ties to BoJack.
I miss BoJack dearly.
Yeah, but I liked Step by Step. We watched that tonight.
Step by Step's a really good.
And that
show.
Was actually really good. What is that on Hulu?
Yeah.
Okay.
It seems like most of these shows are on Hulu. There's a lot of within this time frame sitcoms that are on Hulu.
Yeah.
Step by Step was one. I loved that show when it was on. I used to turn it on every week and watch new episodes, and then it'd start being in syndication. I watched it in syndication. It was always
what is that?
A really good show.
What?
Syndication.
What is that?
So
is it another show or was it?
No. It's so let's say Step by Step is on Friday nights at 8:00 on ABC or whatever, and after it's on for a little while, then another channel starts showing it during the day at 3 or 4 o'clock or something, or Star 64 would be an example of that for our local Cincinnati market. They show other shows, or even it can be syndication on cable too, I guess, how TBS runs Big Bang Theory 23 hours a day. That's syndication. It's not the current live new episode. It's the one that shows the replays of them is essentially what syndication is.
That's kind of like how Nick at Night, so Friends and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So
right. Friends is in syndication now. Yeah. It's on other channels being somebody's paying them for their episodes.
Once you started saying that, I realized where you were going.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. What else? Anything else?
I don't think so.
All right, cool. So do we want to talk about wrestling first, or do we want to talk about video games first? You decide.
Let's talk about video games first.
All right, we are going to get into it. We're going to talk about video games, Xbox versus PlayStation.
I want to do this one first, because if we do this last, we'll be talking about this for hours. Because, like, usually with the more context segments, we always put this at the end, and then we just keep dragging on. If we put it in the middle, we know that we need time for another segment, so we cut it down. It's a big brain move, is what it's called. Many people texted me while we were doing that. Robbie texted me.
All right. Oh, hey, Taggart. Waved. You didn't tell me Taggart waved? You're supposed to be man in the chat. You were man in the chat in a 10:24. Taggart waved. Hi, Taggart.
It didn't say
you're still
anything.
there. Thanks for waving. Sorry that the guy that was man in the chat didn't care enough about you to wave back at you.
It just now said something. It didn't
Dang,
say something.
I'm really sorry about that, Taggart. I appreciate your support.
I didn't say anything earlier.
I was really proud of my Howdy Inc. tweet that said that we were continuing on with no. Oh, I'll make that reference when we talk about wrestling.
Okay.
All right, so
I'll put it like that. Is that better for you?
I've got this cheat sheet that I saved here.
Oh my god, we actually have to do science terms.
So we can talk about stuff.
We're gonna be a bunch of nerds.
All right, ready?
That's not gonna work. I'm just gonna do it like that. Okay.
Ready?
Sure.
All right, so within just the last couple days, both Xbox and PlayStation have both announced their specs of their upcoming next-gen systems.
Yes,
Today is Thursday. Tuesday was when Xbox, maybe it was Monday or Tuesday?
It's Wednesday, not Thursday.
Today's Wednesday.
Yes.
Monday is the day that Xbox put out their specs for their system, and then the next day PlayStation announced that we're announcing our specs tomorrow. So that I don't think that was any coincidence there. I guess PlayStation was just waiting for Xbox to go first. Is that what?
And it was also, it wasn't a live thing. It was an edited, the PlayStation thing, it was an edited thing. And it was so insanely poorly edited. It was like just a guy standing on a pedestal, obviously with a huge green screen behind him in his house because he's not allowed to go to the big office, with like a little desk in front of him that looks like he has a little computer and a TV screen next to him, and the back of people's heads that's just blacked out. And every about 5 minutes or so, they do the same motions. Like a guy like coughed or like pushed up his glasses, and it bothered me how low production it was.
Okay. So Xbox didn't bother with that. Xbox basically just like put their specs in their Instagram story with cool little images to go along with it. I think Sony should have done the same thing. It sounds like I didn't watch the thing that you're talking about. I was at work today.
I think they tried to make it look professional.
After reading through Reddit, everybody agrees with you. So it sounds like they did a terrible job with
the production as well.
Yeah. But nobody really had anything great to say.
And
about
like on the screen, it was just like a Prezi.
Presentation.
Like a freaking 4th grade Prezi was on the screen where he just like clicked a little button and it was like, "Oh, let's go to this circle. Oh, let's go to this circle. Ooh, tail flop," and just kept. It was really annoying.
Okay. Well, that's interesting. You would think that they'd be knocking it out of the park to get people to buy this thing.
Yeah.
All right, let's start off with Xbox because Xbox went first. So let's talk. We're actually talk some numbers here. We don't know what all these numbers mean. But
we're about to say a bunch of letters and numbers that we don't have a single clue what it means.
So let's start with, I've got a cheat sheet right here that I saved off of IGN. So if they gave you false information, that's their fault. But I'm sure it's all right. So the Xbox Series X. First of all, let's start off with the name of it. I think it's stupid.
It's because it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Why can't I say that the name of it is stupid?
No. I'm not saying that your opinion doesn't matter. I'm saying that I don't think the name really matters. But we also say that for a lot of things.
But, I mean, do you even see yourself right now, like, as this is happening? Like, do you say to yourself or do you say out loud, do you say, like, I'm really looking forward to the Xbox Series X?
Yes, when I address it, I say the Xbox Series X.
Like, I say new Xbox because I think the Xbox Series X sounds stupid.
Okay.
All right.
But that also shows, because to your point, I'm guessing you're gonna make later about the premium and the non-premium, that it's a series. It's not just one.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. So all right. So actually, let's not go down one line and then down the other. Let's just talk about them both at the same time, because then we can compare the numbers from one to the other.
Yeah. Okay.
So when we're talking about the CPU, which is the first thing on IGN's list, therefore it means it's the most important, I would think, right?
I have no idea.
So the Xbox Series X has an 8X Zen 2 cores at 3.8 gigahertz. So basically, we just need to know what these numbers are.
And
so
we
that's
don't know what these
3.8
numbers
gigahertz
are,
for the Xbox versus 3.5 gigahertz for the PlayStation 5.
Okay,
so the PlayStation 5 loses in that category, right?
Is it computer processing or is it central processing?
Computer, I think.
Okay. It's one of the two.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not a big enough computer nerd to know
I would think
all
it's
of
computer
the
processing unit.
Yeah, something like that.
So, I think it just means that it's faster.
I mean, it's, all of the...
Everything just means it's faster.
A little faster is what that means. So
the PS5,
3.8
from what I saw today and what they tried to sell me on, it seems like everything is going a million times faster, which I like and don't like.
But hold on, let's get to that in just a second, because the reason why the PlayStation is moving as fast as it is not because of this number. But we'll get to that here in just a second.
That's because of the SSD, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So a little bit better processor in the than the Xbox than the PlayStation 5, but they're both, I mean, very, 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 very good processors that are happening there. So, all right. So the GPU, this is where we get to compare the best word of them all, teraflops.
Jesus Christ.
So
it is a word. It's not just a make-up word. He said it multiple times in the presentation thing today. I was like, oh my god,
I've always been pretty computer savvy, but I had never heard the word teraflop until I think until we started talking about this generation of consoles, right? Like,
because when they said something about teraflop, we were like, that's not a word. That's just a random word that they made up to make it seem cool.
Yeah. Well, right. It doesn't sound like even a real computer word. It sounds like somebody.
When you put the word flop into something, it does not sound right.
Yeah. It's like somebody came up with a word that was like trying to sound like they knew what they were talking about. Like it was like Poppy was like, my computer's got 12 teraflops. Like, oh, you're an idiot. But like it does. The new Xbox has 12 teraflops and the PlayStation 5 only has 10.28 teraflops.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know if I'll spend money on something that only has 10.28 teraflops.
We still don't know what it means.
I think I need at least 12 teraflops to even consider buying a console at this point in my life. That's where I am.
Does
as a
the Xbox One does the Xbox One or the PS4 have any teraflops?
I don't know. Well, here
we
maybe
don't
I
know.
do know. Here I also have a comparison chart between the PlayStation 4 and 5.
Yeah, T-flops.
Yeah, so look. So right here, 10.28 teraflops over the PlayStation 5. The PlayStation 4 has 1.84 teraflops. So huge. I mean, it's 10 times as many teraflops from the beginning.
What is a teraflop?
Who cares?
We
just know we need more of them. That's all that matters.
Bigger number.
We got to have more teraflops so that things flop faster.
It's just literally these things are just like small floppy disks.
Yep.
And then it's like throwing them into the PS5.
It's awesome. I can't wait for that to happen.
You see the video on YouTube about how people like take apart the consoles and it's just like they open it up. It's just like 6 like Blu-ray discs of like floppy discs. And it's just like in a circle.
Have you in your life, being a 14-year-old human being,
seen a floppy disk?
Have you ever used a floppy disk?
I don't think I've ever.
Other than to click on one to save your thing that you're writing for school.
What?
The little icon on the little thing is to save.
Okay,
it's a floppy disk.
But I've never used one.
Yeah.
But like, I've seen them.
Yeah.
Like not just in like pictures. Like I've never gone to like Micro Center and that kind of stuff. Like they have
you've
them.
Never like.
But I've never like
inserted a floppy disk into a computer. Which
have we ever put a floppy disk into that computer?
No, I haven't had.
No. Okay.
No, I haven't had a floppy drive in a computer in quite some time.
Floppy drive. Now that sounds stupid.
That's
floppy drive.
That's what they were called, man.
Oh my
Now we got teraflops. Thank God we've upgraded to
What's
teraflops.
for the flops?
Who cares? All right, they both have
Please
16 gigs of RAM, which is cool.
Good.
That's
That actually kind of says something because our computer has 8 gigs of RAM.
Yeah.
So like,
and I
know our computer isn't like the craziest computer out there, but our computer that can do all this and like and can play some good games and that kind of stuff is, even though it's divided by 2 of what this is, that's still something for a PC and a Xbox.
I had full intentions on when I built this PC to shortly down the road to add another 8 gigs of RAM to it. It's capable of it. I knew that it was capable of it, and I will do it one of these days, but
that and
just haven't got to it.
A graphics card is super expensive, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because those are the 2 things that limit us from a lot of games: the graphics card and the RAM.
Yep.
So but the RAM isn't that hard too.
Yeah. So we got 16 gigs of RAM in both of these things, so that's cool. I heard a couple people on Reddit said that they thought that that maybe 16 gig kind of wasn't enough for the people that stream a lot. I guess that's a concern that they're having. Maybe, I don't know. Just random Reddit people, just playing devil's advocate here.
That doesn't sound. That makes no sense.
I don't know. I think there was some people who was like, "Why didn't you just do 32?" It's like, well, that's
expensive.
That's probably overkill.
Yeah, exactly. I want to know before these things come out, because I know that a number will get leaked at some point, how much it takes to make each unit of these things. And I want to know how much the RAM is for these people who are like, we just should like triple it to make it the best it can be. And then it comes out that it's like, it's $1,000 for like each one.
Right.
It's like, these things, they have to be used in the whole entire like budget to be doing this kind of stuff.
Yeah, for sure. The next thing is the memory bandwidth.
What does that mean? Do we know what that means?
Nah.
Okay.
Looks like Xbox wins.
Okay, cool. Next one.
Memory bandwidth. I'm not sure what that means.
What
Optical drive. They both have a Blu-ray drive, of course.
4K UHD.
And they're both 4K. I think we'll see both of these enter into 8K sooner than later. Will it be this model, or will it be a model that's upgraded in a couple models?
I think it'll be the next model, and that'll be the selling point, is that it's 8K. I think they're both able to do it at this point, but I feel like their mindset is like, we're going to do this, and then next one, our big selling point is crazy new graphics with 8K.
So I think the crazy thing is, I think the main event of what we want to talk about here is the storage.
Yeah.
The storage in these things.
Which is never something that you talk about. Usually it's like, oh, I have 500 gigs that runs out in 2 days.
Yeah.
So
where we're at here is both consoles now are going with solid state drives as opposed to a traditional hard drive. PCs have been using them for a while now. A lot of people like to use them as their main drive in their computer because they're so fast. Put your operating system on there. Put your main things like Steam and OBS and all that stuff.
Yep.
All that lives on your solid state drive because it works and moves so fast. So now that it's time, we've got to the point now where it's time to put those in the consoles, and that's going to be the biggest thing of the consoles. I think is the quickness of the hard drive.
Because like what they were talking
PlayStation, about. PlayStation put it very bluntly today as this is the end of load times. Which
I like, but also don't like. Because he mentioned Spider-Man a couple of times. He mentioned about no more having Spider-Man with fast travel, get on the subway with a little cutscene. It'll just be, you press the button and you're there. It's like, but also a main thing is with some of these fast travel things, like, we like that kind of stuff. And even if it's loaded, loaded in, like, I still like watching Spider-Man read a newspaper and a guy look at him funny. We're like, wait a minute, that guy's Spider-Man. Like, I like that. And
so that's your argument. And then I also, it's the exact same type of argument. Somebody on Reddit said, so no more listening to songs on the GTA loading screen. Like I've been doing that and I've loved that for years. And then somebody's comment was very simple. It said, press X to continue, problem solved. And that's that.
Yeah.
So just because the game can load in 0.5 seconds, but if these developers want to add those type of scenes to because that's a part of the game experience.
Yeah.
They can still be there.
Definitely.
But now you're just able to immediately skip them if you want to, instead of having to watch them.
Because they were talking about it like, you'll press a button and in 0.24 seconds the thing will load. It's like that just takes away the experience completely, I think. And like
but think about but without just the load time thing though, think about walking through a game like Skyrim or something like that, and how as far as advanced as those kind of games are, you still walk through and stuff starts rendering as you're walking through and stuff.
That was one of the things. Like, it was like just turn around and it's already rendered.
It's all there, and that's the gameplay. That's what you're supposed to care the most about. So
which I love. I love that. Just the load thing. Like, I understand I don't want to sit at a load screen for a minute and a half because I'm loading into a huge world. Like, yes, I understand that, and I don't want that at all, and I understand that they don't want that. But I think completely eliminating it, like, completely just is kind of blowing out the water for people who, like, actually want it in the game.
And it seems to be that as far as the hard drive fight between the two consoles, I think they both have their pluses and minuses. So Xbox first announced a couple days ago their hard drive, like, it almost reminds me of like a PlayStation memory card of sort. It's removable. You're able to like put a different one in, I think is the way they're going for it. It just reminds me of like having a couple different memory cards for PlayStation.
Block, like thing that we have over there, like with
right,
a hard drive.
Because that's an external, which we'll get to that in a second. That's an external where these will like slide into the actual console itself. So it
still isn't external.
It's a removable internal is basically the way to kind of put it from what I'm understanding.
But then how do you add? Can you add another external?
Yeah, you can. They're
swappable. Do you think that those will? What? Why would you do that?
The internal ones are swappable. Like you can have a second 1 terabyte, and you can. That can be where GTA and Oblivion lives. Those are just the two first games that came to mind. So they live on this drive, and I'm about to play that, so I need to insert that into my... That's why it reminds me of the PlayStation 1 memory cards, because it's like, this is my Gran Turismo memory card. This is my Tony Hawk memory card.
Can you pull up the picture real quick of the actual console? Because there was a bunch of rumors. Is that the disc tray?
I'm not... Yeah, that's the disc.
Okay, because there were a lot of rumors that they were going to get rid of the disc tray. Mm-hmm. But that could also be the storage thing.
Yeah, they did not get rid of the disc tray. That's what the 4K Blu-ray drive is.
Okay,
they both have that. Yeah, there was rumors of that.
There were a lot of rumors that they were going to get rid of it and make it completely digital. And I know we talked about that on a couple episodes about how that would be, I think, a bad idea. But then when you say that, I'm like, it might just be... everything's on a hard drive, and you switch the hard drives instead of switching discs and that kind of stuff. Yeah.
So I think that's a plus. Like I said, they both have pluses and minuses. I think the plus to the Xbox One is that easy changeability to it, because let's be honest, we're all going to fill up a terabyte in probably no time with the way that game sizes
are. Especially because how big these games are.
No, so the Xbox One is a terabyte. The PlayStation One is like 885 gig.
It's 825. So why the number 825?
So that's low. But I guess the selling point for the PlayStation 1 is that I think that it is considerably faster loading than the Xbox. So they're both solid state drives, but they have different specs.
Yeah.
And the specs that are in the PS5 one apparently blow away the one that's in the Xbox, and that's what's going to make all the difference. So apparently it's like one of the fastest hard drives like on the market right now.
Yeah.
So like all the PC Master Race guys, like, like this is, this is really doing something. So that's cool. So I guess that's it. Comparison side by side. We still don't know what the PlayStation 5 looks like. They have not showed us what that looks like.
That's what I thought I was going to get today. And then the guy's like, okay, thanks, bye. Then it's like, okay, bye.
Yeah. But, I mean... I think I knew going into it today it'll be at E3. Was a specs kind of thing, but
they'll release the stuff. Well, not at E3. They'll do a state of play or whatever because E3's canceled. Oh yeah, another side note: E3's canceled. We haven't talked about that.
Well, I mean, we can just quickly just say everything is canceled. That's just kind of where we are.
It was. I was talking to Tyler about it a couple weeks ago. Well, it was last week. Once everything got canceled, it was like I remember New Year's Day when we had people over, and everybody always like. If they get into an argument in like the first 5 minutes of 2020, they'll be like, 2020 is not my year. Can't wait for 2021. And we're all just like laughing like that. Those people are so stupid. If it's been like 5 minutes, it's like, nah, screw 2020. And then like you read a couple months later of the list of stuff that has happened this year, and it's just like, yeah, I kind of wish that 2020 was kind of over as well. It's kind of crazy all the stuff that's happened.
The saddest meme that I've seen that relates to all of this.
Oh my God, you look at memes.
You're not gonna believe it, but it's a BoJack one.
Oh my God. Of course it is.
Because we all have a lot of sympathy right now for the class of 2020, which is my oldest kid Tyler, because their senior year is getting completely screwed because of all of this, and we all feel so terrible for them. And the saddest one that I saw was seniors going in to spring break, and it was the picture, BoJack spoiler, of the last episode when BoJack and Diane's sitting there, and it said, "Wouldn't it be crazy if this was the last time we ever talked to each other?"
Jesus.
Terrible.
Oh my God.
Terrible.
Don't show that to Tyler.
I know, I didn't.
Yeah, don't do that.
Terrible. So, but yeah, it sucks that all this stuff's getting canceled. People's missing out on stuff.
Yeah.
We got a Horror Hound canceled on us. This Friday, we should have been meeting Kevin Smith and Jason Mewes.
The Friday that just happened?
No, this like two days from right now is when it should be. We were going to meet Kevin Smith.
When is it rescheduled to?
The end of May.
And is Kevin Smith there?
As of now, Kevin Smith and Mewes are confirmed to be at that one.
At least they are.
Yeah.
And at least like you already bought your tickets for like the meet and greet or whatever, like the panel. So at least not out of that money.
Yeah. Me and Todd, we did a whole episode we've done 2 episodes of Howdy Radio about it after we came back from Horror Hound. We always have a really good time there. And this year there was supposed to be a ton of USQ Kevin Smith people there, and all kinds of really cool panels. But of course that got canceled too.
Yeah.
So, but that's rescheduled for the end of May. Whether or not that'll go down at the end of May, I don't think anybody knows at this point either. But hopefully it does, because our tickets are good for that one too. So all right. So back to the video games. So they didn't show what they look like. We know what the Xbox Series X looks like.
It's a big
and
brick.
It is big. It's weird looking. But
they will not fit in our little.
Won't fit in our TV stand properly. Exactly. That's a huge concern.
Have they showed the inches and that kind of stuff? Have they released that?
Yes.
And have you measured it?
After they released the specs yesterday, Microsoft tweeted a hilarious image that said, "Just for comparison, this is how big the Xbox is in comparison to a refrigerator." And it had a picture of an Xbox, a picture of a refrigerator, and it had the dimensions and the scale for both of them. Why they compared it to a refrigerator, don't know, but it was funny.
Why would they do that? Why are they showing it that it's huge?
Also,
everything that they were showing, it is really up and down.
So that's what I'm trying to get at here. That's the whole point of this. They explained yesterday when they released all of their specs of the way that the cooling system works for the Xbox, because it's up and down like this. It's got this big huge wind spiral that comes out the middle that makes it cool down, and it makes it awesome and not overheat. So that sounds really cool. I mean, it is an odd design, but anything that can prevent it from having a red ring in a year is a very positive thing.
Well, blue line for the PS4.
So all of the stats and numbers, I guess, aside, I guess you can't really do that at this point because we know what the numbers are. Which one of the two are you most looking forward to? Like, if somebody said to you, like, I will buy you one of these when they come out, based upon what you know right now, which one of these two would you rather which one would you rather get?
I feel like right now, Xbox for sure.
Why?
One, just the specs just blow it out of the PS5 out of the water.
Even with the awesome fast hard drive.
Yes, and also like my argument with how I'm okay with load times. Like load times are, even if and I know the Xbox won't have 2-minute long load times. I know that it'll
it's still a solid state drive.
It'll get a lot shorter.
But Microsoft.
I feel like a big thing is that we're so used to these loading screens, and like that developers have been using these loading screens to do things. So I feel like if you take that out, it loses a layer to the game. So
that's where you get all the tips of how to play the game.
Exactly.
Like, I mean, does anybody read those though?
In Spider-Man, I decided to see how fast I can press X to skip through all the 5 tips. I skipped them really fast.
But at the end of the day, so we're talking video games here, and I think Sony has proven way more times than not that they have the better exclusives than Xbox. I don't think
they also haven't announced any exclusive for PS5.
I know, but going into it,
there's going to be something big.
I think that Sony is going to kill it in the exclusive department.
Yes, for sure.
But I don't know. I mean, I think Xbox really got their butt kicked at the beginning of this current generation. But I think in the last couple years with Xbox Game Pass and some other stuff that they've started doing, I think Xbox has won the final couple years of this generation as far as the quality of product and for the money that they have put out. Now, reason that they're giving you so much for so little money is because PlayStation was killing them in the sales. Yeah. So they had to do something to lure players in. And here, we'll give you all these old games for a small price, and now you can play them all. So, I mean, it is what it is. That's the reason why they do that. Sony doesn't need to do that because they've got all the exclusive games like Spider-Man and God of War that everybody
and everything's backwards compatible. And, like, one thing that I said, I think one of the first things, unless there's some crazy exclusive that we get with the PS5, because we're planning on getting that first, correct? Because we got the Xbox first last time.
I'm a little up in the air at this point.
Well, I think we still have a lot of time.
I need more information on both consoles at this point. I was going into it full steam ahead. PS5 was going to be, I wanted to get it at launch, and I wanted to and do that instead of the Xbox. This generation, we bought the Xbox first, bought the PS4 later. So I just wanted to switch it around this time, and I've really been enjoying playing my PS4 here lately. So PS5 was my way of thinking. But now I don't know. It sounds like Xbox might be really coming out swinging with this generation, and they might. So that I don't know.
And then I don't remember. Is Halo Infinite holiday of this year?
I'm not sure.
Do we know?
I'm not sure.
I don't remember if they said it at E3 last year, or at the Game Awards or whatever they announced it at. But like, that game is going to look so good. Like, I care about, because it's supposed to be like this more open world single player game. But like, and like just the just like the little cutscenes that they have showed, it just looks so good, and you know that that's not like the best that it can get. Mm-hmm. And then they're gonna show this new stuff with the solid state drive and all this crazy stuff, and it's gonna look 100 times better. Yeah. So I think
still got a lot to learn.
Exactly.
The numbers alone aren't enough.
Yeah, exactly.
To really determine the whole grand scheme of things.
And I think also price point.
Price point is going to be a big thing for sure. Oh, and one thing that we were going to mention too that we didn't really get to, but I want to say it quickly because I want to wrap this up, is it looks like there's some rumors going around that the Xbox that they're revealing right now is a premium Xbox, and that there will be 2 Xboxes that essentially come out at the same time. One more of a budget friendly, and this one is more of a beefed up one that can kind of satisfy the whole PC master race side of things, that oh my god, you can do that a million times better on a PC. And now those PC people are like, oh, this console actually looks pretty awesome. So I think we might almost be comparing apples to oranges here because of it being a premium one. But I don't know, maybe the specs ain't that much better for it to be a premium.
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't know, we'll see.
I think it's everybody just being like, this thing is going to be expensive, so it has to be. They have to make it.
Yeah, you would think it would be about $400 or $500.
You got to think about it. How much money they have to put into to make each console.
I mean,
just like
so the drive that's in the PlayStation now with the PlayStation 5 being like such a high-end drive that it is, it's a $200 hard drive.
Yeah, just the hard drive, and then there's all the other parts.
That doesn't
and then they also have
anything else. It's a $200 hard drive that is in there right off the bat. So
that's crazy.
But that's what it cost us to buy that hard drive, is $200.
Yeah.
When Sony buys it from a company and they buy 5 million of them to build all these PlayStations with, they don't spend $200 per hard drive because they're buying so many of them. They probably spend $100 a hard drive or something like that. Yeah. So, but still, it all adds up very quickly. So,
definitely.
All right. So we'll keep you updated on this because it'll be a big thing to talk about this year because new video games are fun.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. That's enough talking about video games. Let's talk about some wrestling.
And we still went super long.
Anybody else in the chat?
Nope. Just Taggart with his little hand.
All right, ready?
How long are we talking about this?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe 20 minutes.
Yeah.
All right, lastly, we want to talk about wrestling.
Yeah.
The wrestling world is in like a super weird state right now because of the whole coronavirus thing. It's made it to where like people can't travel. All the shows are being shut down because you're not allowed to have more than 5 people in the room with you or whatever. So before we even get to like AEW, like the shows that we like to go to, like the shows in Dayton, Ohio, Rockstar Pro Wrestling and stuff like that, those are all just like, they're done. They're canceled until like the end of May at this point.
It's crazy.
So we won't have a wrestling show to go to for a while, and we know that. So, but that leaves some of the bigger companies that have, more money at their disposal and are able to do a little bit more things. So WWE and AEW both have decided that the show must go on and that we'll do it even if there isn't any people in the arenas. And that's super odd because, the audience making noise and cheering and booing and all of that stuff, that's a huge part of, what makes a wrestling show. So kind of odd to not have it. But better to have the product than to not have the product at all right now, I guess, is where we're at, and they're doing the best with what they can.
Yeah.
So tonight was the first AEW show without an audience. WWE has ran SmackDown and Raw both that way.
About Raw.
I don't watch them, so I don't have much to say about them. I read that they were mostly just like video package clips and stuff, that it was not just like a solid live normal show the way that AEW put on tonight. That was a lot of talk that I saw tonight was, AEW did it right. They put on just a whole regular show. And that's not what WWE did. WWE just started showing videos, and it was boring, and it wasn't what we were looking for. But this was just, they were like, here's our wrestling show.
And I think one of the best parts was something creative that they did. They put, like, people who weren't wrestling, like people on the roster that would be in the locker room just standing back there doing nothing, out in, like, the front row, and, like, MJF, like, one of the main heels, was, like, just yelling at the wrestlers, like, most of the time. Like, he was probably one of the highlights of the show, just him just, yelling at people the whole entire time.
And you have to imagine that some of the wrestlers in the ring were probably trying not to laugh at some of the crazy, stupid crap he was yelling at them. So the show started. So I don't have much to say about WWE. That's just where we are now. WrestleMania is going to be held this year without an audience, and it's going to be 2 nights.
2 days. It's just Wrestle Kingdom in the United States.
Yep.
But without fans.
No fans at the Performance Center. WWE has their own like big facility where they train all the wrestlers, so that's where they're going to be doing their shows from now.
I saw some on Instagram. It was like, if they don't build a big pirate ship in the Performance Center, we'll be rioted.
Yeah.
It was funny.
And yet, because people in wrestling always lie about how many people are in attendance, it's just a thing that they do. They always round up, and sometimes they round up by like 10,000 people or something.
It's always a record attendance every time.
So I'm sure they'll be in this empty arena, and they'll be like, "There's 85,000 people here," and be like, "No, there's not." Yeah. Or maybe they will just to make a joke out of it. Who knows? So WrestleMania will be 2 nights for the first time ever.
Hosted by Rob Gronkowski.
Who cares?
Oh my God.
I don't know. So we'll see. But so AEW was tonight, and it started off with a promo of Cody in the ring, and he was kind of talking about what was going on and why, there's nobody in the crowd, and it was just super weird to see. It was a fantastic promo. Cody's so good. I thought he did a great job of, like, it started off for just the first minute of, like, addressing, what is happening, and he, like, very quickly turned it into a wrestling promo to talk about, we're actually here to talk about wrestling. We're not here to talk about
He talked about how we all have to come together, even if we're, like, 6 feet apart or something like that. And then he brought it into the elite, having to be together and that kind of stuff. The transition was very, very well placed.
Fantastic guy. He did such a good job with it. And then there was some matches tonight, and they were pretty good overall. Having the wrestlers at the ring cheering and booing and doing stuff like that.
Gambling on the matches.
Yeah,
that was pretty funny.
It was great. It was a great way to do it.
Yeah.
So then we got, spoiler alert, if you haven't watched tonight's AEW Dynamite, we're going to talk about all the people that came out tonight that if you haven't watched it and you don't want to be spoiled, then don't listen.
Yeah.
So the Dark Order Exalted one had been one that has been talked about for a while now, and we were trying to figure out who it was going to be, and he debuted tonight, and that was from WWE. His name was Luke Harper, and WWE, his name's Brody Lee everywhere else. So he is the big guy of the Dark Order. So were you satisfied with that big reveal? Because that's been building up for a long time.
Definitely. I'm glad it wasn't somebody who was just like a random person that nobody knew. I'm glad that it was somebody we knew, and like that we knew how he wrestled and like that kind of stuff, and we knew that he had potential to do stuff. So
yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what he does in AEW for sure. I was never like a big fan of him specifically in WWE, but I always liked the Wyatt family, and he was a part of that. So I have nothing against him. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what he can do, and I like this whole Dark Order thing, and I think he might be a good fit for that.
Yeah. He definitely has like the beard and like just the face for it. Just like the gloomy kind of face for it.
Yeah, so it'll be cool to see where that goes. Obviously, it's going to go to a feud with SCU, but
obviously
we'll see what happens with it.
Double or Nothing. It'll be I'm guessing it's gonna be the Exalted One and the Evil Uno and Stu Grayson versus SCU.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
probably so. Or maybe even just Brody Lee versus Christopher Daniels. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Or maybe that'll be
that's
a
his
match
like
between
debut
now and then or something. Maybe. So we'll see how that turns out. And then there was another big reveal tonight, which I didn't see coming, really.
Yeah.
So Matt Hardy has been one that a lot of people thought maybe was going to be the Dark Order Exalted one. But, we watch our fair share of all of the other web shows that go along with wrestling and stuff. And as of a couple weeks ago, I was like, it just doesn't seem like Matt Hardy is going to be in with the Dark Order because their storylines just aren't kind of matching up right now. And that's what I said I thought was going to happen a couple weeks ago, that it was going to be Matt Hardy. And we all thought Matt Hardy was going to have to be away for a couple months because that's usually how WWE contracts work. Is
it's a 90-day period.
90-day no compete. Once you leave WWE, you can't be on another show for 90 days. That's usually how contracts work.
Yeah.
Obviously not all of them. So at the end of the show tonight, Matt Hardy was up in the stands and they showed him, and he's there to help the Elite fight the Inner Circle.
Yeah. Which means he would do some sort of dive off of a ladder to a table, probably to Jericho, and in the blood and guts match. He will take a bad bump at some point in that match for sure.
So as far as Matt Hardy goes, I was a big Hardy Boys fan back like in the late 90s or whatever.
When they were the Hardy Boys.
Yeah. And I guess I was a fan of them once they kind of split and started doing solo stuff there for a little while.
Yeah.
But I don't know that I've really been a fan of Matt Hardy since then. So I don't know. He
kind of went to like TNA and started to do his whole delete thing.
Yeah.
And apparently he did it good there, and then he came back to the E and did that, and they completely ruined it.
Okay.
And then he went back to do other stuff in the indies, and it became perfectly fine. And then like 3 months ago, he started his web show, Freed the Delete, and like that man was crazy.
Yeah.
I know that he's taken some blows to the head, but that man is crazy.
Yeah.
Like, it's weird.
Yeah, he's a weird, crazy dude. Yeah.
Like, I know that he probably is like a super chill dude at this point. Like,
possibly.
just like in just real life, just a cool dude to talk to. But his show and the way that he acts like in the ring, he is just crazy.
Weird dude.
For sure. Weird. Like, can you explain to me anything that happened in the Free to Lead episode today?
I mean, no.
No, like,
no.
Just randomly, this random preacher guy is like, "Oh, hi, I'm going to delete your soul." It's like, okay.
Yeah, it's a little weird.
Starts doing stuff.
So because of all of that, I guess, is a reason why, like, I don't think I'm super excited for him to be in AEW. I'm not against it. Like, I'm not, I'm open-minded enough to be like, all right, well, let me see what you're going to do here and if it's going to entertain me or not. But I'm not going into it, like, super excited, like, yeah, Matt Hardy's here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that means they had 2 people debut tonight. They were both former WWE guys.
Yeah.
And they did it to an empty arena. Neither one of them got the
pops.
pop that they both deserved for what they did.
They got a pop from me.
Yeah.
Both of them got pops from me.
The one that I feel worse for in this situation is Brody Lee, because the show was supposed to be in his hometown tonight.
And he would have gotten
crazy pop. And that's so unfortunate that he didn't, get what he deserved there. And that kind of sucks. But I still applaud the crap out of him for continuing to put on a show for us to watch during these crazy weird times that we're in. So one of the crazy weirdest things about the whole episode to me was every time they talked about the next episode of Dynamite, it was never next week on Dynamite. It was whenever the next episode of Dynamite
It was always just next Dynamite.
Next Dynamite. And they said, and a couple times they like specifically said, whenever that might be, whenever that may be, whenever that comes.
And Kenny said something at the beginning of the episode that we don't even know if we're going to have
next week. Right.
Next week. So,
because as of right now, like, it is almost even a little weird that they're even allowed to be doing what they are doing with the way that they're shutting everything down. So I still wouldn't be surprised if between now and WrestleMania that WrestleMania doesn't happen. I mean, I think it's great that they're all moving forward and coming up with plans of what to do if they can. But if we're being honest here, it's probably not going to happen. There's a good chance that it's not going to happen, at least. But to me, like, the way that AEW kept, moving forward, they kept saying, this week is, so today specifically, they were like, so this one is not going to be in the arena that it was supposed to be, but it's going to be at this place in Florida instead with no audience. But then all of the future shows, they were like, all of these shows are canceled, but they're going to be moved to an undetermined place where we haven't said where they are. But I feel like they've alluded to that they're still going to be on schedule, just not from the same place, and they hadn't said where it was.
They rescheduled a couple shows. Like, there's one show that's supposed to be in, like, St. Louis or something like that, and it's moved to, like, August 25th or something like that.
Yeah, quite a few of them, they've rescheduled dates. But to me, like, they had not made any indication that there will not be a weekly show every week. Just it's going to be different, and it's going to be from somewhere where they hadn't said where it was going to be.
Yeah.
But the way tonight they just kept not saying next week. Like, it just made me believe that, like, maybe they're going to announce something tomorrow that's like, okay, actually we're taking the next month off, or I don't know. I don't know what to expect. I feel like I feel like
they kind of have to keep, like, unless the government or something tells them that they can't. I feel like they kind of have to, because these wrestlers, the only other money that they get is off of indie wrestling shows, and all these indie wrestling shows are completely canceled.
Right.
So they don't have another way to get income and that kind of stuff.
Yeah. It sucks. As soon as this stuff happened, like, all the wrestlers that you follow on Twitter and Instagram and stuff, like, they all start, hey, during these hard times, here's a promo code to buy my shirt and buy my merch and stuff. And it's like, it does suck, man. Like, all these people, like, that are, I mean, I don't know.
Pro wrestling tees are probably getting so much money, like, just because everybody's trying to support the wrestlers and that kind of stuff.
But are they? That's what I'm saying, because the time that we're in, like, they're, I mean, like, me and my wife decided, a few days ago when we had a little discussion of, okay, there's no more spending on stuff that doesn't need to be spent money on, because we're uncertain of what's about to go down here. And, a $60 video game, or, whatever. That's not in the budget as of right
Yeah.
now. That's gone. And that includes going on Pro Wrestling Tees and buying a t-shirt for me. So, and I'm sure I'm not the only one that's thinking in that same situation of I can't buy the unnecessary stuff right now. So I'm sure these guys are taking a big hit right now and not being able to, make the money that they're supposed to make. They go to all these towns and do all these independent shows, and you spend $10 or $20 to meet them, and they make all their money that way, and they're not able to do that. And that sucks.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's the same way, there's all these people that aren't working, and it sucks for everybody.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's that.
Yeah.
So hopefully wrestling continues, because it's a great thing to have something to entertain you, and I'm obviously very entertained by pro wrestling. But like tonight, GCW, one of the smaller indie feds, they announced here in just a week or two that they're going to do a 2-night 16-man wrestling tournament. Then it's going to be live on whatever their internet pay-per-view is. No audience or whatever. And it's like, well, that's great. Like, I hope that I can, maybe work that into my budget and be able to watch that as that happens to support those kind of things. I planned on watching all kinds of different indie shows during WrestleMania weekend here in a couple weekends, and now those are all canceled and everything.
Yeah.
So, and then there's other of these smaller companies too that are, they have like what is considered their pay-per-views that you have to go on like Fight TV or something and pay like $15 for, or like Rockstar has their like own little network where you pay like however much. So there's some of these indie feds now, they're starting to release some of their bigger pay-per-views for free for people to watch, but they're putting them out for like a certain time. Like NWA just put up their big 70 anniversary show. It was like a month or two ago was when the show was. But it was still, something you had to pay to watch. But now, like, for the next 48 hours or something, it's free. So they're doing that. Rockstar released one of their pay-per-views from a few months ago, and it's free. So it's like, it sucks, we might be without our normal, amount of wrestling that we would watch. But this might be a fun way to watch some other stuff that we might not have watched.
And that's why, like, the streaming services just overall, like, including the network, and, like, just Netflix and, like, HBO are just being overrun right now.
Yes, for sure.
Like,
Xbox
I think
Live,
I saw something. Yeah, Xbox Live has had multiple server shutdowns because everybody's getting on at once and they can't handle it at some point. But
Nintendo Online was down.
Yeah, like it was annoying because I had just moved. Wait, no, I hadn't moved the Xbox over here yet, but I was about to, and like I loaded it up and like I have to put in my password and stuff, and it won't unless I'm connected to the internet, or like the service or something. It won't let me put in my password because like it's connected to my account, so so it won't let me do anything at all. So like I'm just like stuck sitting here, just like. Can't even play on this thing because everybody's trying to play on it. So
Steam had a record like 20 million users on at one time crazy. Or something.
Yeah, Call of Duty just hit the 15 million Warzone players. They went in the past week. They gained like 5 million players.
I tried out Warzone. I thought it was all right. What'd you think?
I've enjoyed it a lot. Yeah. The two different modes is the Battle Royale mode and it's called Plunder. And I'm glad that it's not just the Battle Royale mode, because the Plunder mode it's the same map, but you choose your loadout and those respawns, and you have to like get as much money as you can.
Okay.
And like I think that's something you guys would like a little bit more, because those respawns are not gonna stop. So yeah.
You know what I mean? I did terrible, of course. I'm just not good at those kind of games.
I understand.
But sometimes that's whatever. I just like playing with my friends sometimes, and that was the situation. I didn't dislike the game so much where I was like, oh, this sucks. I don't want to play this.
But you're still being the 12-year-old calling it a Fortnite copy?
Of course it's a Fortnite copy.
Okay.
Of course.
We've done this conversation now. I've had this conversation about Fortnite with you way too many times.
Nothing will ever beat Fortnite. It's the greatest video game of all time.
Okay.
Love Fortnite.
What is yours like Shimu or something, right?
My favorite video game of all time is Mike Tyson Punch-Out.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
For the Nintendo Entertainment System.
Okay.
What's your favorite game of all time?
Spider-Man.
Whatever.
Not whatever.
Mike Tyson's way better
what,
than
were you going to say Rocket League? Mine's Rocket League.
You've put more time into Rocket League
put
than any other video game in the world.
That is correct.
So why ain't that your favorite?
Because it's just not
So tired of looking at that screen and seeing Rocket League.
What do you want me to play then?
Anything. We got like 800 games in this house you could choose from, and you keep playing that stupid Rocket League.
Are you gonna
game
renew
over and
the
over.
Game Pass in gold?
Didn't I just tell you that we decided that we are not spending?
I know,
anything
but
on
like
that falls into that.
But that's like a
category.
renew thing.
That's not. That's
That's
I've
not a
already
part of it?
turned off the auto renew a
You
month
have?
ago.
Oh,
Before anything.
with gold as well.
I don't know how that works.
Well, because you
figure
might
that
need
out.
to make it so it's not gold as well. Because I need gold to play
Yeah.
my games.
I mean, I like the Game Pass. It's cool and all, but I have a lot of games in this house that can hold me over
yeah.
being quarantined for a month or two
Yeah.
or whatever that I don't.
But those are all like a lot of the games that you're talking about are like a lot of Japanese games. Like the games that you will play,
There's
you are going to play all those Yakuza games,
no, there's,
and I will not play those
there's
Yakuza games.
plenty of games
And there's
for
a lot
everybody
and there's
to
a lot of
choose
games
from.
in that Game Pass that I would love to play.
Well,
So
good job.
I have money.
Oh well.
So
All right.
still,
And you have a job.
yeah.
I thought that would be your rebuttal, is that I have a
Oh,
job, but
okay.
it wasn't.
Okay.
All right. So
Alrighty.
what were we talking about in this segment? Wrestling.
Wrestling. What do you
Wrestling's
think we
cool.
were talking about?
I like wrestling.
Okay. Are we done with this?
We didn't talk about music on this
Oh
episode.
my God! What is there talking about music? Oh,
That's our
music.
3 things that we talk about, and we didn't talk about music.
what were you talking? What were you going to talk about music? Is there anything for you to even talk about music?
Uh,
All concerts are canceled. I'm on music.
Yep. There's a new Greg Doley album. There's a new Tame Impala album, and there's a new Fantagram album that have all came out
Still
so
haven't
far
listened to
this
the
year.
Fantagram album.
I haven't really got into the Fantagram album yet. I like the Tame
Meaning you
Impala.
haven't liked it, or you haven't like actually just like sat down and listened to
I
it?
just haven't been in the mood for it. I've been in a little heavier mood here lately, and Fanagram. I want to wait till the time is right for that one, because the last time I think I was in a similar situation when the last Fanagram album came out. I wasn't really in the mood for it. I listened to it. I was like, I don't really like it, and I shouldn't have given it that review. I just wasn't in the mood for it. So I just gotta wait till one day I'll be like, oh, I want to listen to Fanagram. Then I'll dive in or something. I don't know.
I found
Tame Impala I like. It's pretty good. It's no Currents. It's no Lonerism.
Yeah.
But I like it a lot.
Yeah. But I found 3 new artists.
The Greg Doley album is album of the year so far.
Well, there's only been 3 albums.
There's 3 albums that have been added to my album of the year playlist. Yes, but I'm just saying, as of right now, we are we're a quarter through the way of the year, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, so far.
That can't be right.
But it is.
No way.
Oh
my God, we're a quarter of the way through the year.
So I'm just saying, as of right now, the one that is winning the album of the year race is Greg Doley's new album.
So I found 3 new artists off of Visionary Music Group, which is one of the thing. What is that called?
I don't know what that is. I have no idea.
No, it's like a
record label.
Label.
Okay.
That Logic is on.
Okay.
So I just
is it his label or is
no,
the label he is on?
He's on a label. I think he also has his own label as well. But one was Chelsea Cutler, Quinn. It's a bunch of Roman numerals. It's like XCII. I think it's like.
Why does everybody have
57, something
XCII
like
in their name? Is there
What?
not like 5 different artists that have XCII in their name?
I only know of one.
There's a Charlie, and I think it's XCII.
Is it actually?
I'm almost.
I know who you're
positive.
talking about, but I don't think it's the same one.
I'm almost positive it's the same exact number.
Is it actually?
Charlie.
No.
Oh
Okay,
no, Charlie XCX.
Okay. I'm talking about.
And then the other one is XCII. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Quinn.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
All right.
Him, Chelsea Cutler, and John Bellion were 3 people that I've gotten into recently. So yeah, I think the only person who has released a record this year was Chelsea Cutler. She released her first album earlier this year.
Is this all hip hop or?
Pop, like, the John Bellion one is like pop rap kind of, and the other 2 are more just pop kind of stuff.
Really?
Not just like Taylor Swift kind of pop, but like the kind of pop that I like more like
Okay.
yeah. nothing that you would like at all.
No, I mean, I assume
in
that.
the least bit.
Well, that's fine.
Yeah.
I think one thing that we will end up with from this whole coronavirus thing is I think that we're going to get some very fun, creative stuff that comes out of it. Like Kevin Smith was like, well, I'm quarantined, so now I'm going to finish the new Mallrats and the new Clerks script.
Yeah.
I've heard multiple artists say that, like, you know, this is going to be the time where, like, all these bands and everything are going to sit down and, you know, they're in a place where they're going to start writing some of their best material because, you know, they have nothing else to do, and they're going to want to, once everything comes back around, they're going to want to release a new album that blows everybody away. I think it's a good possibility. We might see some cool stuff come from this in the end, at least that way.
We might actually get a new Gorillaz album one of these days and not just release Song Machines.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for the Gorillaz Tame Impala collaboration. That'd be cool. One more thing real quick. With the movie industry, talking about, you know, I was talking about how my job has been affected. My other son, Tyler, he works at a movie theater, and they're shut down now, too, so that sucks.
And a couple movies are delayed, and that's why me and Tyler started watching the James Bond movie, because they were...
Okay.
Because that got delayed to November.
So one thing that they're doing is some of the movies, I think specifically Universal was the one that we read about, they're going to start, instead of, you know, they're going to keep their same schedule, I guess, but they're going to release on video-on-demand services the same day that they would come out in the theater. And starting this Friday, they're releasing a couple movies that have already been in the theater for the last couple weeks. Invisible Man, Trolls,
Invisible Man,
The Hunt.
Trolls, The Hunt, and Emma.
Yeah, so like I guess those are all, like, you know, movies that people are really into. Yeah. So that'll be great for piracy. What
let's go.
So, yeah, but you know,
FBI breaks down our door.
Bring it on.
No, not bring it on. That's not your mindset.
If that's what you want to spend your money on right now in this world that we live in, bring it on.
But the FBI or piracy?
The FBI.
What?
What
are you talking about?
I'm not worried about the FBI busting me for downloading movies. I don't care.
If you use NordVPN, you don't have to worry about other people finding your stuff.
There you go.
Promo code Howdy Inc. Get 5% off your first 6 months.
It's not true. That won't work.
That won't work. No. Okay. Everybody else has a VPN.
I know. Everybody else has ads, and we don't. We're ad free.
There are so many VPN things. There's like NordVPN. Yeah. There's just like there's another one.
I made a fun announcement on the Howdy Inc. Twitter yesterday, where I said that due to the coronavirus, Howdy Inc. will not be shutting down any of our shows. We're going to take the pro wrestling empty arena approach, and we're going to continue on with no audiences. And since Howdy Inc. shows have never had an audience anyway, it's just business as usual. And then the next day we brought back Howdy Radio, which was actually pretty cool. I thought that was pretty cool the way that worked out.
Or quick Nickelback joke.
Oh.
It's
that one was funny. I know what you're talking about.
What do you remember that, like, the
it was just a picture of an empty arena, and it just said like Nickelback just continues to
not aware of coronavirus. Nickelback is still performing in empty arenas. Yeah, I told that one to Joe. He thought that one was really funny.
That was a good one. Good old Nickelback. And what's his name? Jared Leto? Jared Leto. He didn't know about the coronavirus till yesterday because he was meditating in the desert for the last 14 days.
I saw something on Snapchat about that. Jesus Christ.
I don't know anything about him, so I don't care. But
the guy that played Joker.
I know that.
Yeah.
And I know that Holly Hawk made a joke about him on BoJack.
Oh my God. Okay. Can we cut it here? Like this is just going on too long that we've resorted to more BoJack jokes, and if we get to BoJack jokes, then the BoJack jokes are just gonna keep going on. So. Let's see if anybody else. AEW posted the must-see open by Cody and the Elite. Huh. That's funny. What it says the dash AEW Dynamite 3/18/20, comma, empty arena.
All right. Let's finish it out. All right, that's our show. I'm glad we did a show.
Yeah, finally.
First show of 2020, hopefully not the last. Hopefully it's not just this one and then like the best of 2020 at the end of the year.
Oh my goodness. That's a good possibility.
We'll see. But I mean, if we're going to be...
Hashtag Howdy Radio Destination has been postponed until further notice.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know. I mean, if we're going to be quarantined in our house for a month, why not sit down here and talk?
It's time for me to make some YouTube content.
Yeah, I mean, it's a perfect time to sit down and do something like this. That was kind of my train of thought that ended us up sitting here doing this tonight. Why not sit here and talk about some stuff?
Yes, sir.
Cool. So check out my other friends talking about stuff. My buddy Kyle does a podcast called Deck One Dealt and another one called Iconoclash.
Are they still doing the ICP Twisted bit?
I think so. I haven't watched the last episode or two, and they're not doing them as frequently now, so I'm not exactly sure where they're at with that, to be honest with you.
Oh my goodness.
But check out both of those podcasts because they're both awesome. And check out my buddy Smoothie, or your boy Smoothie, but of course, he's got his show that he started it up called The Mind of Smoothie, his solo podcast, so make sure you check that out. Go to howdyinc.com to download some stuff.
Does he have guests on it?
No, it's just been him so far.
Okay.
It's just him by himself for the first couple episodes. His first episode was about wrestling because he started watching wrestling a little bit.
Yeah.
His second episode was about micro machines. Do you know what micro machines are?
I feel like if you explained to me like a half of it, then I would know what
it is. It was a toy back in the 80s.
Oh, is it a thing
90s.
where it's like a little box and then you like it makes the little thing?
No, it's just these little cars. I mean, it's really all they were. It was like Hot Wheels, but small.
I think I'm thinking of McDonald's toy.
Okay.
It's like a little box and like you throw it on the ground and like makes like legs and stuff.
Sounds like a McDonald's toy, yeah. So he's got like themed episodes, like this episode's about this episode's about this, and then they've been really good so far. So check that out. All of our stuff is on howdyinc.com. We don't have much else going on right now, though. So bring back Howdy Radio and make that our main focus again is kind of where I'm thinking with it.
Yeah.
Cool. So that's it. Who knows what will happen between now and the next time we talk to you?
Yeah.
I mean, every day basically has got worse than the day before.
Yeah,
so who
it's
knows
crazy.
where we'll be at, even if we did a show a week from now. But I think that's kind of the fun thing is that we probably should do another show a week from now so we can kind of document our thoughts on all of this stuff. It could be a very good thing to do.
Welcome back to the vlog. We're in the quarantine zone.
Basically.
Everybody has hazmat suits on. Like, you can't... We have, like, a mic underneath the hazmat suit.
Could be. We'll see where this ends up at.
Yep.
All right. Well, thanks for checking us out. Follow us on Twitter at Howdy Inc. That's it.
Yep.
Later.
See ya. Time for me to stand up and get out of this uncomfortable seat. I don't understand how we sat on that thing for so long. That thing is so uncomfortable.
All right, live stream.
Oh, we're still live.
Thanks for
Bye, live
watching.
stream.